The 2024 F1 season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was absolutely awesome, which came as no surprise to any F1 fan given how incredible the rest of this F1 season has been. So let's talk about it, and be sure to stick around to the end of this video for a crazy story regarding what just happened with my Abu Dhabi Grand Prix race predictions. First and foremost, I still cannot believe how McLaren just won Formula One's team championship. Headed into the final race of this F1 season in Abu Dhabi, McLaren were in the driver's seat when it came to winning the 2024 World Constructors' Championship, pun intended. McLaren had a 21-point lead over Ferrari coming into the season finale, with there being a maximum point differential between the two teams of 44 points. This meant that a race win worth 25 points would clinch McLaren that Constructors' Championship no matter what, even if Ferrari finished second and third with the fastest lap, but it also meant that if Ferrari outscored McLaren by 22 points, they would clinch the championship no matter what. Little did either team know that both of those possibilities would be very much in play during the race. After qualifying, McLaren's advantage grew even larger to the point where a McLaren Constructors' Championship seemed like an inevitability. McLaren drivers Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri locked out the front row by qualifying P1 and P2, while the Ferraris of Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc would be starting the race P3 and P19. That P19 being due to Charles Leclerc having a poor qualifying on top of receiving a 10-place grid penalty for taking on new parts. Everything was coming up McLaren until Max Verstappen. At turn 1 on lap 1, Red Bull's Max Verstappen absolutely sent it on Oscar Piastri, which caused Piastri to spin and drop all the way down to last place. Piastri would go on to get a huge penalty for causing a collision during his recovery drive, putting all of McLaren's hopes almost entirely on Lando Norris' shoulders. To make matters worse for McLaren, while all that was going on, Carlos Sainz inherited Piastri's P2 right behind Norris in P1, and Charles Leclerc carved his way through the entire field to P3 from P19, with about a third of the race remaining. At this point, if the race ended P1 McLaren, P2 Ferrari, P3 Ferrari, McLaren would win the championship, but if it ended P1 Ferrari, P2 McLaren, P3 Ferrari, Ferrari would win the championship via the most wins tiebreaker, even with Piastri recovering to P10. That is how thin the margins were. One small mistake from Lando Norris would have handed the Constructors' Championship to Ferrari, but of course you know by now that in a season filled with talk of Lando Norris throwing away opportunities, he seized this one and won the race to clinch the championship for McLaren. Absolute scenes! Give the gift of Goodr this holiday season. Goodr's sunglasses start at just $25, so they make the perfect stocking stuffer, gelt substitute, or any holiday present. All Goodr sunglasses are also 100% polarized, made of high quality yet lightweight materials, and are specially designed to not slip or bounce while on your face. Check this out. Because of all that, it should be no surprise that Goodr sunglasses have 50,000 plus 5-star reviews. Give a gift they will actually use and love, or treat yourself to some Goodrs. They come in a ton of styles and colors, from fun like these to classic like these. If you're giving Goodr as a gift this holiday season, make sure to order before December 16th to get them in time for Christmas. Starting at just $25, you can give the gift of Goodr to anyone this holiday season, including yourself. Goodr is giving Formula Bone listeners free shipping. You can go to goodr.com/fbone and use code FBONE for free shipping. Goodr offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Again, that's goodr.com/fbone and use code FBONE for free shipping. Next, the most dominant and iconic team and driver pairing in Formula One history has officially been broken up. With the 2024 F1 season all said and done, Sir Lewis Hamilton is no longer a Mercedes F1 driver for the first time since 2012, as he has signed on to drive for Ferrari for next season and beyond. The combination of Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton is far and away the most successful team and driver pairing in F1 history, so much so that for a number of years between 2014 and 2020, people would often say that them together was bad for the sport because they were so dominant that races were usually over before they even began. It was like 2023 Max Verstappen and Red Bull, just for way longer, and also at one point, Lewis had a teammate actually capable of beating him to the championship. Over the course of his 12 seasons with the Silver Arrows, Lewis Hamilton won 6 World Drivers' Championships, which is the most ever for one driver with a single team, and it's even 7 to some people, as well as an insane 8 straight World Constructors' Championships from 2014 through 2021. Additionally, while driving for Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton set the records for most career wins and pole positions, becoming the first and only driver in F1 history to reach 100 in either category, as well as most races and most wins with a single constructor and engine manufacturer, and that even barely scratches the surface of just how much Lewis and Mercedes achieved together. It's going to be weird seeing Lewis in red next season, that's going to be bizarre, but I, for one, cannot wait to see what he achieves with Ferrari. Next up, you need to hear this F1 story about the driver who had the fastest lap at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. In case you're new to Formula One, if you finish in the top 10 in an F1 Grand Prix and also have the fastest single lap time in that Grand Prix, you score one bonus F1 championship point called the fastest lap point. At least that has been the case from 2019 through this season, with the fastest lap point being controversially removed from the sport starting next season, but that's a story for another time. Anyways, the fastest lap point at the F1 season finale Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, that went to absolutely nobody. Like I said, in order to score a point for getting the fastest lap in a race, you need to finish in the top 10. And the driver who set the fastest lap in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix did not even come close to finishing in the top 10, finishing in 16th place. And who was this speed demon? None other than Haas F1 team driver Kevin Magnussen, which is absolutely amazing for two main reasons. First, because this was almost certainly K-Mag's final race as a Formula One driver after a career spanning 10 seasons, so it was really cool to see him go out with a fastest lap bang just like Daniel Ricciardo did in Singapore earlier this year. And second, and more importantly, because Kevin Magnussen is now the undisputed GOAT of setting fastest laps in Grand Prix while not finishing in the top 10. K-Mag's Abu Dhabi fastest lap was the third fastest lap of his career, all of which came with him finishing outside the top 10 in that race, and even outside the top 13. His first fastest lap came at the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix, where he finished P16. Now, this was actually the season before the fastest lap point existed, but it's still hilarious to me. His second fastest lap came at the exact same race 1 year later, the 2019 Singapore Grand Prix, where he finished P14 and made it so that nobody got the fastest lap point. And his third just happened in Abu Dhabi, where he again made it so nobody got the fastest lap point. Because of all that, I think it's pretty fitting and beautiful that Kevin Magnussen and the fastest lap point are both leaving F1 at the exact same time. Don't you? Next up, did you catch what McLaren F1 team driver Lando Norris just said? Lando Norris crossed the finish line in first place this past Sunday to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and clinch the 2024 F1 World Constructors Championship for McLaren. This is McLaren's first Constructors Championship since 1998, which crazily is before either of McLaren's drivers, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, were even born. Anyways, Lando Norris went on team radio after taking the checkered flag to celebrate, and he ended his celebratory message with a very, very interesting line. Here is his message in full. Woo hoo hoo. Woo. Papaya on top. Congrats to everyone. Ah, incredible. Well done, everyone. So proud of you all. You all deserve this. Thank you so much. It's been a special year. And then he said the big line, next year is going to be my year too. Lando is normally very pragmatic and suspicious when it comes to saying how he's going to perform, almost so as to not jinx himself. So to see him exude this much confidence has me absolutely pumped for next season. Let's just hope this message isn't 2024's version of Toto Wolff's 2021 everybody has a target on their backs next year message that ended with Mercedes showing up in 2022 with one of the worst cars ever. Do you think Lando Norris is going to win the 2025 World Drivers' Championship? Let me know in the comments. Additionally, Alpine F1 team driver Pierre Gasly may have just accomplished something that's never happened before in the 75-year history of Formula One, but maybe not. It's being reported by many outlets, including F1 themselves, that Pierre Gasly is the first full-time driver in Formula One history to have cost his team $0 in car damage over the course of a full F1 season. This whole news story seems to have been sparked by Redditor Bass Pro 24 Chevy's incredible season-long passion project called World Destructors Championship, where every season they track how much money in repairs each driver costs their team, with Pierre Gasly finishing the season at $0 in damages caused in 2024 in the season-end standings. While it's a fun story and all credit to both Bass Pro 24 Chevy for their awesome passion project and Pierre Gasly for driving so clean that it's even possible that this story exists in the first place, there are two big issues that I have with the media running with this story. First, season-long car damage cost is certainly not a stat that's been tracked since 1950, so for them to say that he's the first driver to ever not cause any damage is an insane statement. And second, it's well documented that Pierre Gasly did receive floor damage in Japan that did not make it into the World Destructors Championship, even while similar floor damage did for other drivers over the course of 2024. I want to be crystal clear that I love Bass Pro 24 Chevy's work and think that it's super fun and entertaining to follow each week, but since they openly state that the data used isn't official and relies on unconfirmed estimates and approximations, it's weird that the media just took something off Reddit and presented it as fact for the sake of getting views and shares. Well, I guess it's not that weird given media these days, but still. Let me tell you about my sponsor, Shopify, who has been an incredible supporter of Formula Bowen this F1 season, so you should go support them. Shopify is the best all-in-one commerce platform capable of handling your business's complexity no matter how big you grow. Step up to Shopify and harness the best converting checkout and the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands like Ruggable and Allbirds. Why spend time trying to build an online store with someone besides Shopify when Shopify stores convert the best? You're trying to convert, right? It's like the whole point of business. You should go to Shopify. One thing I love about Shopify is that it integrates with YouTube, which just goes to show that they are so forward-thinking when it comes to selling products in the modern digital age, baby. You gotta stop leaving sales on the table, folks. Switch your business to Shopify and discover why millions, yes, millions, trust Shopify as their all-in-one commerce platform to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/fbone, all lowercase. Very important, all lowercase. That's 1 month for just $1 at shopify.com/fbone, shopify.com/fbone. Finally today, with the 2024 F1 season officially over, it's finally time to see if I stopped taking L's and made it back to 50% on the season with my F1 race predictions so that my name can finally go from L-Bone back to J-Bone. And strap in, folks, because I'm about to tell you a crazy story. All right, so I entered the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with a disappointing 32 for 69 record on the season with my F1 race predictions, aka a 46% hit rate. Because I wanted to at least give myself a chance at hitting 50% if I absolutely went off with my predictions, I decided what I was going to do was make 10 predictions for Abu Dhabi instead of the usual 3, since even if I went 3 for 3, it would not get me to 50%. And guess what? Here's how those 10 Abu Dhabi predictions ended up. 2 didn't hit, a Ferrari win and both Williamses to finish the race, and 8 hit. Lando Norris to finish P2 in the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton top 5, Checo Perez no top 5, no Jack Doohan points, Nico Hulkenberg to finish ahead of K-Mag, Yuki Tsunoda to finish ahead of both Checo Perez and Liam Lawson, Aston Martin points, and no Sauber points. I did it. I went an absurd 8 for 10 with my Abu Dhabi Grand Prix predictions to bring my season total to 40 for 79, aka 1 prediction clear of being below 50% on the season. Yeah! God, that felt so good to say. But sadly, the story doesn't end there. Many of you don't know this because you're not watching my videos on the tube for some reason, like jerks, but I put out a full-length video before the Las Vegas Grand Prix, giving myself 4 very bold bonus predictions that I said counted toward my season total. The first was that a different team would win each of the last 3 races, and that one hit, but the other 3 didn't hit. One was that Checo would be out of his seat by Abu Dhabi, and the other 2 were me being an absolute idiot and trying to guess the exact final standings for the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, which is impossible. I don't know why I did that. So I'm going to leave it up to all of you. Do those bonus predictions that I made count since they were not part of my actual season-long Grand Prix prediction series? If not, then I did get back to 50% on the season with my 2024 F1 race predictions, and my name is J-Bone again. But if they do count, then I did not get back to 50%, and my name is still L-Bone. Let me know in the comments. J-Bone? Special shout out to my top YouTube channel members, Joe Max's number 1 hater Snow, Brian Linton, Wolf Loves Racing, Waffleopicus, Melissa Cruz, and David Haig. Mash that join button just below this video to get your name shouted out right here in future videos. We may have just entered the F1 offseason, folks, but J-Bone, or L-Bone, whatever you want to call me, is not going anywhere. I'm doing a ton of season recap content and then a full slate of off-season content. Have no fear, I will make sure that you get your F1 fix throughout the entire offseason. Until next time, folks, J-Bone? J-Bone?